Welcome back to the show, World of Blazers. I know I took a little bit of a break there. I had a lot of business to take care of, but this is episode 99. I am one away from 100. 100. So we're getting there. I'm getting there. I'm about to achieve that big milestone there. Forewarning everybody, today's episode, no guest, just me, solo episode. But today, this episode, the one you're going to hear, is going to be old school George. And if you're not familiar with my older episodes, I'm going to offend you. If you're a Democrat, so sad, too bad, don't give a fuck. If you're a Republican, coming after you too. In fact, that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about. And the reality of the situation that we are in right now with the whole MAGA movement, the Conservative Party, Republican Party, like I don't even know what fucking party they are anymore. We have to call that out. And let's not forget what happened in California. Prop 50, listen. Republicans, California GOP, you fucked up. You failed. And the California GOP is to blame. Like, for real. Does anybody even know who they are? Has anybody even heard of the California GOP before? Maybe recently, maybe the Prop 50 issue situation that just went down. How we just landslidedly, undecidedly lost. All Republicans lost their right to vote, their representation overnight. Because why? Republicans in California couldn't be bothered enough to get off their fucking lazy asses and go actually vote. That's the truth. That's the reality. That's what we're going to discuss. So again, we're going to talk about Prop 50, what happened here with the California GOP. We're going to talk about the whole MAGA versus Republican Party, the infighting, what's happening there. And I'm going to address all these fucktard influencers. That's right, I did say fucktard. It's a word I use off and on. I'll accredit that. I've always used it, but I'm going to say that Aaron from I Had to Say It is the one who really brought it back to my attention. And after hearing his show multiple times, I got to say, you know what? Great word, Aaron. Thanks for bringing it back. And also, I have to discuss Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes, the guy that was so fringe that hardly anybody even knew his name. He had kind of a cult underground following, but ever since Tucker Carlson had him on his show, the world is talking about this guy. And it's scary. It's scary because of who he really is and what he represents. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about little Nicky, as I call him, little Nicky Fuentes. Because just because he stands for America First, or his version of it, doesn't excuse everything else that he is. And we're going to go over that as well. But before we move on, listen, I'm going to thank everybody for supporting me in my social media endeavors. I'll be honest, my X account sucks right now. I lost a bunch of followers. I think it's just all ran by bots. I'm being suppressed, shadow banned. I'm going to call it out. X sucks. But for some reason, Meta, Facebook, basically, Instagram, Threads, for whatever reason, but more specifically for me, Instagram, you see, the company that supposedly suppressed free speech, that would not give Republican voices or conservative voices a chance, a shot to be heard, somehow that account for me is doing fairly well. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but thank you very much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to keep pouring on the gasoline on that fire over there in Instagram. So I'm going to tell you all right now, I don't push social media often. I'm very bad at it. In fact, my social media numbers does not reflect my podcast numbers whatsoever. It's very crazy to me that that's the case. But because I'm talking about it, give me a follow. It's very easy. All my social media handles are at Fonts Ablaze, like my last name, Fontes Ablaze. So at Fonts Ablaze. You type that into Instagram, you're going to find World of Blaze with George Fonts. You're going to find me on Instagram at Fonts Ablaze. You're going to find me on X at Fonts Ablaze. Even Threads, although I don't pay attention to Threads. I don't even really think I have that many followers. But no matter where you go, it's at Fonts Ablaze. And if you're not familiar with my YouTube channel, which also, by the way, has been blowing up, thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate it. At Fonts Ablaze. Pretty easy. At Fonts Ablaze. I think I fumbled that a little bit. Lip smacking. I got to drink a little bit of water from America's cup here, as you can see. Don't worry, true to form, I did have a glass of champagne before I started this recording. So, thank you very much for supporting me, and please continue to support the show. Please share the show. Please follow me on all my social medias. My handle at Fonts Ablaze. You'll find me pretty much everywhere. I also just launched my Substack. Finally, it's something I've been working on for a while. I've been updating it slowly with certain episodes, or certain guest episodes. And I'm starting to write articles, op-eds, etc., because I want to give you more. There's some things that I believe are better presented. Like my thoughts sometimes are better in written form versus verbal form here, video, recorded audio, whatever the case is. So look for my Substack, which is also, I don't remember if it's at Fonts Ablaze, but regardless, you can find me on at Substack. Just look for World Ablaze with George Fonts. I mean, you'll see the logo. You'll know it's me. Anyway, enough of that bullshit. So let's talk Prop 50. What the fuck happened in California? What happened? You see, there's no one to blame there except for the Republicans of California. Something so extremely important. Y'all dropped the ball on. And it wasn't even a close vote whatsoever. The reality, Republicans didn't even show up. They didn't even show up to defend their rights to be represented at all. And beyond that, the California GOP did fuck all in really getting the word out to combat what is happening, that everything that surrounds Prop 50 and what it's going to do, or what it it's been voted in, so we have no choice anymore now. But what it's going to do for the representation of anybody who may be conservative, who lives in a red district, who wants it to remain red, good luck. You fucked that up. You didn't show up. You decided that you couldn't be bothered to get off your ass and cast your fucking vote. And that's on you. And the GOP of California, who nobody ever fucking heard of. I'm going to tell you right now, nobody heard of them. I couldn't even figure out who they were. And I'm a Republican in California. Granted, I am very busy. I talk about politics on the national level. I do dive into geopolitics. So, partly my fault, I'm sure. I didn't dive in deep enough to find out who these people were. But to be honest, I had a hard time when I've done searches in the past. I had a hard time figuring out who my people are locally when it came to the Conservative Party representation in California, because they don't do fuck. They don't do anything. They don't do anything whatsoever to get off their fucking lazy asses and really beat the streets and let people know who they are, where you can turn to for support when it comes to your Conservative or Republican Party representation in California. That is just a fucking fact. And I don't care. I don't care what anybody from the GOP side of California or the California GOP, if you're listening to me and you got an issue with what I just said, come at me. I can give a fuck less. I'll be happy to talk to you. And in fact, it sounds like you need someone like me involved, because you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing, period. Your marketing is horrible. You did nothing to really combat Governor Newsom when it came to propagandizing the Prop 50 issue or debate, in terms of him trying to tell everybody it is saving democracy. It is a fight against Trump. But beyond fighting against Trump, he was really saying it is saving democracy. A vote for Prop 50 in California is combating the people who are trying to take your rights away and trying to destroy democracy. That was Gavin Newsom's message. And I'm going to tell you right now, no matter where you went on social media, I saw fuck all when it came to the California GOP doing anything. You know what I saw everywhere I went? Everywhere. Anybody right now can probably still type a search into any social media platform, especially X. And all you saw, even on TV commercials, in between football games, right? If a commercial comes on, halftime, whatever, what'd you see? Gavin Newsom. You saw that pitchfork carrying, devil-tailed swinging motherfucker out there really pushing the issue, trying to tell people how evil it is that Texas redistricted, and the reason that Californians need to vote yes on this, the reason California needs to give their rights of representation away is to combat what's going on in Texas. But not even telling you the whole story, that basically everything that was going on in Texas was a Supreme Court order based on a previous case that was overturned. And I'm not going to get into all the dirty details involved in that case, but I'm going to expect my audience, hopefully, to take it upon themselves to be smart enough to question even what I'm saying and do a little bit of a little fucking bit of research. Do a little something. Get out there and find out for yourself. Find out what the hell is really going on. Because when it came to California Republicans, we, including me, I'll say it because honestly, I wasn't going out and I wasn't ringing the bell. I wasn't screaming from the megaphone, etc. I brought it up a few times. I had Phil Moriello here, who was the host of California Underground. We discussed it, but that's not enough. I could have done more. And I didn't. So yeah, I'm to blame as well. But we fucked up. And you know where we fucked up? We didn't even show up. There are roughly about 6 million registered Republicans in California. You know how many show up to vote against Prop 50? Roughly half. That's right. About half of the registered Republicans in California actually got off their ass to be bothered enough to go vote for their rights to be represented. You gave that away. But again, sure, I'm to blame. Why? I have a show. I have a social media presence. May not be the biggest, but I have some following. And I got to say that I could have done more. Absolutely. But the GOP, the California GOP, definitely should have done more. They should have done more. They didn't do shit. And I'm going to tell you right now that, listen, right here. See these eyes, California GOP? I'm getting involved. I'm fucking knocking your door down. I'm coming your way, and I'm going to get involved because this is bullshit. This should not have happened whatsoever. And if we're just going by the numbers, if every fucking registered Republican in California actually bothered to get off their ass, break their fucking routine, put down their beer and their wine, whatever the fuck they got in their hand, put the Big Mac down, whatever it is you're doing that's so fucking important, to go cast your vote against this Prop 50, we more than likely would have defeated it. But nah, couldn't be bothered, right? Were you unsure? Were you really unsure whether or not your right to representation needed to be, withheld? Were you unsure as to whether or not it was a good idea to have an independent third-party organization go out on behalf of the state of California to draw the lines? Was that not a good idea? Or did you really think it was a better idea to give that power to the governing body of California, which as of now is Democrat? What do you fucking think they're going to do? Do you not see that politics lately, especially in 2025, is nothing more than a game? It's about who could win, who's getting the points, the pats on the back. But you couldn't be bothered, Republicans of California, to get off your ass and fucking vote. You're the problem. Yeah, that's right. I just called you out. You're the fucking problem. You're the reason California is where it's at. Sure, we can argue that California is corrupt, that our votes don't matter. It's true. Democrats outnumber most Republicans by, I don't know why I said most, but let's just say they do outnumber Republican in California by, I think it's double. Yeah. So I think it's around 2-1 in terms of representation of Democrat versus Republicans. 2-1. So if everybody goes out and vote, regardless, if they all go out and cast a vote for anything, for the most part, Republicans are going to get their ass beat every time. But the reality is not everybody bothers to vote. And in fact, most people don't even vote unless it's a major presidential election, for example, or a governor's election. Those are the major things that people care about. Everything else, they kind of just go, whatever. And that's the problem. That's where the California Republicans need to take advantage of the laziness of the California voters on both sides, Democrat or Republican. Stop being fucking lazy, Republicans. Get your ass out there and actually take this serious. Remember, if you want to change the nation, you're going to have to start locally. You want to control your back fucking yard. And if you're not going to be wanting to be out there and willing to actually control your backyard, then just fucking lay down and die, I guess. I don't know. You're just going to live in misery. You're just going to be one of those whiny bitches who just complains and complains and complains, but does fucking nothing, because the simplest thing you could do, the most basic thing that can help you in this republic of the United States is to literally go out there, get off your ass and vote. That is it. I mean, that's all we ask of you at the bare minimum. I understand you might not be able to take the time to go door knocking, hang signs, all that shit. You may not be able to talk to your neighbor about the issues and convince them as to why you should or should not vote or support a certain thing. I get it. Life's busy, right? Our modern society keeps us very busy with work and everything, I understand that. I understand it. But not making time to vote? Really? You're telling me something as important as just casting your vote. That was too much for you? Like, what the fuck? So let's go to the numbers here. Let's look at what happened with Prop 50. So as you can see over here, let me see if I get my cursor. There we go. As you can see, the votes. Democrat, yes, over 5 million votes, 63.9% of registered voters, and 3 million Republican registered voters voted. 3 million. That's it, just 3 million. Didn't I just say earlier there's roughly 6 million registered Republicans? So based on the votes, as we can see on the screen, just over 5.5 million Democrats voted. And if all 6 million lazy, slobby, motherfucking Republicans of California got off their ass to actually vote, we would have beat it. We would have won. We would have won. We would have beat Prop 50. Absolutely would have beat it. So, who's to blame? California Republicans. Who else is to blame? The California GOP. California GOP. You suck. You're not good at what you're doing. Sorry, but it's very true. You suck. You didn't do enough. You weren't anywhere, honestly. I might have saw or seen, apologies for that. I might have seen a clip here or there on social media. Maybe. But for the most part, I saw the slimy, Joker smiled devil Gavin Newsom everywhere. I'm sorry, California GOP. If you were serious, you would have done everything you could to outshadow Gavin Newsom and his deceptive message regarding Prop 50, but you didn't. You didn't. I found a clip here of somebody who sums this up in a much nicer way than I am. And her name is Priya Patel. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. I don't know who she is, by the way. But I came across this, and the video was perfect. I just have to play this clip. Let me go and switch over here, and I'm going to full screen this so you can see this. Here's Priya. This is what she says about what happened with the vote in California regarding Prop 50.
In California yesterday by a landslide. And you know what's pathetic about this is that we have nearly 6 million registered Republicans in the state of California. Only about half of them turned out to vote. Had all of the registered Republicans in the state gone to the polls and voted yesterday, we likely would have defeated Prop 50. Because of your laziness, now dozens of counties across the state are losing their voices and their representation. Their votes now mean nothing because Fresno is in the same district as San Jose.
I'm going to pause that. For anybody who doesn't live in California, I'm just going to say geographically, Fresno is not that close to San Jose. It's a couple hours drive at best. And Fresno being part of San Jose, which is close to Santa Clara, which is not that far from San Francisco. How does that even make sense? Fresno has been a predominantly red area, but after this vote, it breaks up Fresno and it brings it into the district of, where San Jose is, which then again does what? Waters down the representation of Republicans in the Central Valley area of Fresno, Kern County, all that, Fresno County. Anyway, let me keep playing this.
Redding is in a Bay Area district, and Huntington and Newport Beach are in an LA district.
Huntington and Newport, I can kind of get that given the area, but Redding in a Bay Area district? What the fuck? Really? Redding? No, And if anybody doesn't know, that's pretty far north of the Bay. We're getting into more spread out areas, mountains, etc., surrounding the area. It is red. How in the fuck are you going to bring Redding down into a Bay Area district? Makes no sense whatsoever. But hey, Republicans, you dropped the ball. This is what you got. This is what you didn't vote for, so this is what you get. All right, I'm going to continue this.
Completely different people, completely different ways of life, completely different infrastructure, and completely different interests. And yes, this will have a top-down effect. The implications of Prop 50 will trickle down to the state and local level. Mark my words, it's not going to just remain federal. But what I find funny about all this is that when I was watching the election results last night, Fox News exit polls reported that 92% of voters believed that the maps should be drawn up by an independent commission. The majority of these people voted to throw out that very thing. We currently have an independent commission in California.
Okay, proves the point. Proves my point, I've always said. People live on the surface of information. It was voted a while back that the lines that are drawing in California regarding our districts was to be handled by an independent third-party organization, just as I stated earlier in the show. And most people who voted agreed that is what we should do. But why did they vote to take that away? Oh, because of Trump. You see, you hate Trump so much that you'll give your rights of representation away in California. And for all the Democrats who are taking that victory lap, let me explain something to you. California has been close to becoming red more than once. Governor Newsom, not that long ago, was recalled. He was just about ousted. And somehow, in the 11th hour, don't know where it came from. I'm not going to say this wasn't legit, but whatever. We had hundreds of thousands of votes come in to keep Gavin Newsom in office. Somehow. Even though the majority, the way it was going, the trend was Gavin Newsom was out. But in the 11th hour, somehow there was enough votes to come in to save his ass. So, point being is California could flip red there, Democrats. Very well could. And voting on this proposition sets the precedent for the future governing body, if it were to flip Republican, to do the same shit against you. To decide we're just going to redraw the lines in our party's favor. Now, a lot of people say, well, no. You don't know what you're talking about. This is only good till 2030. It's going to go back. No, it's not going to go fucking back. Are you stupid? I mean, seriously, are you stupid? I'm saying it. Look, it's rhetorical, I guess. Don't answer because I already know the fucking answer. But are you stupid? Do you understand that any little thing that you give up and give to the government doesn't come fucking back to you? Do you not understand that? Can you give me an example anywhere where the government gave back any little piece of the power that you give them? Does that ever happen? Have you ever seen that in history? Does it happen? No. The only way it ever happens is if people physically rise up and take it back. But we already know in modern times that's not going to fucking happen either. And I'm not advocating for that. I think there's a better way forward than picking up pitchforks, muskets, and whatever and taking back our government. But California, you fucked up. And Democrats of California, you also fucked up because you just set the precedent for this shit to be turned against your ass later down the road when this state flips back red, which it used to be many, many years in a row, just so you know. So, Priya Patel's right. She's absolutely right. I want to show everybody, I'll pull this up here. I want to show everybody what's going to happen now. After this vote went through, after the vote for yes in Prop 50 in California, I want to show you what your map's going to look like. I want to show you what happens to your fucking representation that you were too lazy to vote for there. And I'm talking to you, Republicans of California. So this map here, on this side on the left, this is where the current congressional districts this is what they look like anyway. This is where the lines are currently drawn. After this vote of yes, this resounding, uncontested vote for Prop 50, this is what your representation looks like. Is that a reality check for you? I hope it is, because I'm going to tell you, living in California, all this area up here, I'm looking at the district lines on the left here of the picture, all of that I'm circling with my cursor, I'm going to tell you right now, that is fucking red. That is red. And what you see on the right is the redistricting that will happen that brings all the populace over into be a blue district. The problem with this, you're like, well, we still have a good little chunk of red. Well, do we though? Because population-wise, most of all of this is very mountainous regions. There's desert right in here. This is not a very populated area. Not compared to this area here, to all of this here, especially over here. This even got taken away. If you look over, it was red, and now it's going to be blue. So, in essence, California conservatives, California Republicans, you will no longer have any fucking representation. Your vote ain't going to matter. Now you can literally say, fuck it, I'm not voting. Because you just gave away any chance that you fucking had. Because half of registered Republicans couldn't get off their ass to vote. Period. I don't know what else to say on this. I do blame these guys here, though. I blame these guys. The California Republican Party. Does anybody, the California GOP, has anybody even heard of them? You know, they were saying that they were doing everything they could to press forward and convince people to vote for this, to get off their ass. They're saying that they called registered Republican vote. Look, I'm a Republican voter registered in California. I didn't get a fucking phone call. I didn't get a phone call. Most people I know that are Republican in California didn't get that phone call. We didn't see any town halls or anything in our area in regard to getting out and voting against Prop 50. Where in the hell was your activity? Like, let's just be honest. Like, where the fuck were you, California GOP? The California Republican Party? Where were you? What were you doing? What were you doing? Look, we're sitting here. We're sitting here in need of people who take real action. Okay, this isn't schoolyard kickball anymore. I mean, we've all graduated. We're done with that shit. It's time to get serious. It's time to get out there and really care about your future, about your representation. If you love California so much, get out there and make the fucking change. Get out there and be the change. Do everything you got to do to save your right to live, your right to live how you want to live in California, because as of now, you just fucked that up. You just fucked that up. Here is the chairperson for the California GOP. This is her response. Someone that I didn't even know existed until I heard a recent episode of California Underground. I'm just being blunt, being honest. And so I looked into her. I looked into the whole California GOP, and let's just say it's bleak. It's abysmal. It really is. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this for you here so you can see it a little better. There you go. And here, let's hear what she has to say. Let's hear her response to all of this.
Never end. We're going to keep on working, and we're going to keep holding those accountable in Sacramento. And so I want to introduce the CAGOP chairwoman, Corinne Rankin, for a couple comments.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Corinne Rankin. I am the chairwoman of the California Republican Party. And, we stand here tonight at the California Republican Party headquarters. But this is not a Republican versus Democrat issue. This issue, Prop 50, is political insiders, political elite versus...
Let me address that real quick. Excuse me, Chairwoman. It very much is a fucking Republican versus Democrat issue, because that's exactly what Gavin Newsom made it. Your governor made it a Republican-Democrat issue. The issue is that he wanted California to be swayed that much more blue to gain another 5 seats or so in Congress. He wanted another few districts that are blue so that when it comes to the presidential election, there are more blue electoral votes. Yeah. This was a Republican versus Democrat issue. No, I get where you're going. I understand that this affects everybody, just as I said earlier, because again, this could be turned against Democrats who are running a victory lap over this vote of yes. But you obviously don't understand the fight you're in, Chairwoman. You just don't. I'm sorry, but you sound incompetent so far. But let me play a little bit more. Let me give you the benefit of the doubt.
Is the people of California. True power lies with the people. And the passage of Prop 50 tonight takes that power away from the people of California.
Agreed.
We have fought for almost 2 decades here in California to not only create our independent redistricting commission, but to keep our independent redistricting commission. Like Assemblyman Tongipa said earlier, it's the gold standards. Other states should be following the standard that Californians set with this independent redistricting commission. We have fought for it. We've fought to keep it. Community members throughout the state of California have spent tens of thousands of hours pouring input into the shaping of these districts, and in one fell swoop, political insiders grabbed the power away from the people.
You know why? Because you didn't do shit. That's why. I've never even seen your face on social media. I haven't seen you make one video clip telling people why Prop 50 is bad. I'm not saying that you didn't do it. I just personally didn't see it. And I'm someone who is on social media. By virtue of me having to do this podcast, I have to be on social media. I'm not one of those people that just has to ignore it. And I'm telling you right now, I did not see you in any of my feeds on any of the platforms I'm involved in. None. Gavin Newsom outclassed you. He fucked you. And he ran to the bank with your own fucking money. He literally ate your lunch. Because you didn't take this serious enough. You didn't do enough to get out there and rally the Republican voters to get out there and do the work and get it done. You fucking failed. And again, I need to go ahead and get involved, I think, at this point. The California GOP is just... they're fucking lost. They don't know what they're doing. They're playing nice. They're playing nice. They're playing flag football while the Democrats in California are going full-on fucking rugby-style football, no pads, anything. They're just running into your ass and leveling you out because you want to be nice in 2025. I'm sorry, but gloves got to be off. You got to care. You got to do more than tell a speech and get up there on camera and get recognized. You got to do the fucking work. I'm going to go ahead and I'm reaching out. I don't know if they're going to take me serious. They better. All they have to do is look at my YouTube and I probably got way more fucking numbers than they do. I'm going to tell you right now, George Fonts needs to get involved in the California GOP. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to see what they say. There's no guarantee that they're going to let me. They may not like this video after they see it because I'm going to guarantee that they see this. I'm going to fucking send it to them personally. I'm going to get there at their fucking office in Sacramento. I'm going to bring a copy. I'm going to bring a laptop. I'm going to give them a physical copy. I'm going to hook my laptop in. I'm going to kick in their stupid little meetings. And I'm going to play this episode on their fucking screen so that they can get a fucking ear beating about how fucking bad they are and how they helped contribute to the Republicans of California losing their right to fucking representation. Period. Okay. Now that I'm done bashing the lazy Republicans of California and the ball that was dropped by the California GOP, let's move on to what happened with the Republicans and the votes that just happened recently. Actually, let's just, what I want to talk about is the MAGA versus Republican Party. Everybody thinks it's one and the same. In fact, every time someone disagrees with a Republican, they just call them a MAGA, a magtard, someone who's a part of the MAGA party. But I'm going to tell you right now that they're not one and the same. They may be both considered conservative, but they are different people. Okay? The traditional conservatives are not necessarily MAGA. MAGA, its moniker, what it really stands for is Make America Great Again, hence the MAGA. Sounds great. Make America Great Again. It was also a movement based on an America First platform. But thus far, I'm not sure that we've seen an America First platform, and hence why the infighting right now. And most of that infighting is over whether or not you support Israel, which is fucking stupid to me because this blip of a nation compared to the rest of the world is allegedly, supposedly controlling the entire United States of America. I'm going to dive into that in a different episode, but I'm going to tell you right now, the population of Jews in the world versus the population of Muslims is not even anywhere close. And if we're talking about people who are going out and controlling and trying to conquer or soft conquer, it is definitely Muslims. I'm sorry if that sounds racist to you, but it absolutely is not. It is actual fact. It is data. It is something you can't ignore. Whether you want to be inclusive, empathetic, sympathetic, whatever the freaking name is or word you want to use, the reality is true. So moving on from that stupid argument that Israel completely controls America, which they don't, but I am going to say this. I question our relationship at times. I definitely don't think we should be giving Israel as much money as we do. Billions every year. For what, I have no idea. Yes, they're a strategic ally. Yes, I agree that we do need to have an allegiance with them, but that should be a two-way street for sure. And they're important. They are. But they do not run America. And if there's anything that I would wish when it comes to our relationship is turn off the fucking spigot of funding or drastically reduce it and hold Israel accountable for the bullshit that they pull sometimes. And look, I'm not anti-Jew. This isn't anti-Semitic in a statement. If you think that's anti-Semitic, then you got the reasoning of a fucking 12-year-old. I'm sorry. It is me calling out the nation state of Israel, not the Jewish people. Because I can't say that the government of Israel and how they act represents everybody who is a Jew. That being said, I also got to say that I'm against dual citizenship. Any Jew here who has a citizenship in Israel as well in America, I'm sorry, but, and this is going to offend some people I actually do talk to, but you can't have one toe in the water and another one firmly planted on ground and always give yourself an out. I also don't believe that you should be able to leave the fucking United States of America to serve in another nation's military to defend the operations and the sovereignty of that other nation. You're either an American citizen or you're not. You either believe in America or you don't. You can have an affinity for where you came from. You can respect your heritage, but when shit hits the fan, it's fucking America first. I'm going to leave that there. That's what I believe. It's what I've always believed. And for people who are hearing the show who think I'm being unreasonable, Go back to my back catalog. I've said this many times. I've gone over the numbers. I've gone over the U.S. aid numbers. I've gone over all the funding that we give to nearly 240 countries and territories throughout the entire world. America bleeds itself to help other nations, to literally help the world. And yet, when we bring this up, we're chastised for it. We're called anti-Semitic if we just say the word Israel. But in my opinion, the Israel talk is, I'm sorry, man, but it's done. It's over. It's baked. Get over it. Yeah, we get it. We shouldn't be giving them as much money as we do. Agreed. I understand. AIPAC shouldn't be able to lobby. Well, I agree with that, but at the same time, America lobbies in other countries as well for our interests. So there's a few things going on here. Israel's an ally, yes. Does Israel control the United States of America? Fuck no, they don't. Does the United States of America need to put their foot down in the relationship more often? Hell yes, they do. America absolutely needs to put their foot down more often. And should we ask more of our ally? Fuck yes, we should. That's how I feel. Getting back to the whole MAGA versus Republican Party debate, which again was mostly focused on America first versus Israel first, which is a fucking stupid argument. But let's talk about how New York, since we're talking about Republicans, how New York gave away America to a degree. I know, New York City, not the state, to a mayor who's a self-professed socialist. Socialism got voted in to rule the city of New York, a socialist. Never thought I'd see the day. A lot of people are saying, well, Truman was a democratic socialist, and what the fuck does that got to do with anything? We're talking about a full-blown socialist here. Sure, we have socialist-like programs or programs that could be considered socialist, but by and large, we are not a socialist country. We're not a place where we are going to abolish capitalism just as Zohan or Zoran, whatever the fuck Mamdani wants to do. We're not going to empty our prisons because we don't believe in penalties or punishment for crimes, just as Zoran Mamdani wants to do. We don't believe in abolishing the police as Zoran Mamdani wants to do, because if you don't have police, we fall into anarchy and chaos probably within, I'm going to say a couple of weeks, maybe even less. I don't know. These are all things that Zoran Mamdani stands for. But yet, the people in New York, they couldn't see past that because all they heard was low rents, free groceries, free money, no taxes. Hold on. Because you in your life aren't where you want to be and things are fucking expensive, well, join the fucking club. Do you think I'm where I want to be? You think any adult is where they want to be? Some achieve their goals, but not all of us. We accept that we got to move forward, press on, adapt, become what we can. But we don't give up. People like me don't give up. I don't accept that, I grew up mostly poor. I did what I could to earn a living. I pushed on. I moved on. I made something of myself. Yeah, it sucks when you're younger. And today, I'm going to tell all you young people who keep complaining, I can't buy a house. Well, guess fucking what? I have a pretty good income, and I can't afford a fucking house today either. All of us Gen Xers who thought that, hey, we're going to take advantage later, we're going to make all this money, we're going to have great careers, and we're going to buy multiple properties and set ourselves up and our families up for generations to come. It didn't happen for us either. Growing up Gen X, a lot didn't happen for us, to be quite honest. We're in the same boat. We're going through the same shit in real fucking time. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. But hey, when it comes to Mamdani, let's focus on how New York fucked up, because this is Mamdani clearly stating he's a socialist. How he wants to make sure that Well, socialism rules. This is from a 2021 video of him on YDSA. It's a winter conference. Here's Mamdani right here. In his own fucking words, New Yorkers.
We clearly do not have the numbers as they are in this moment to win the radical legislation that we need to bring about and begin to believe that these kinds of results are sufficient. We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. Now, we had an academic boycott campaign and one of the aspects of that was to fight to stop study abroad at universities in Israel that were complicit in the occupation, many of which through the development of weapons technology for the IDF. Now, by bringing the issue of Israel-Palestine apartheid to Bowdoin, you bring it front and center, it's harder to ignore. And then making sure that we move to dismantle that relationship. Those are things that you can do as a legislator, right? You can.
First off, what is all the foreign relations and geopolitical situations here, relationships? What does that got to do with New York fucking City, Mamdani? I get that's how you feel, but we're talking about a city within the United States, within a state of the United States of America, that you should be focusing on as someone who has aspirations back in 21 to run for mayor. Now you are mayor, and you're going to sit here and say that we need to destroy the relationship with Israel when you need to figure out how to keep the city of New York moving, functioning, and going. You're clearly stating that you are a socialist and you got to be unapologetic about your socialism. This is what New York voted for. This is what New York voted for. I'm not going to spend a lot more time. Actually, I'm not going to spend any more time on Mamdani. You see, New York, you fucked up. You got what you voted for. Enjoy his term. Good luck to you. All I'm going to say is you fucktard Democrats out there. And I did say fucktard Democrats because that's how I feel about New York City at this moment and the Democrats of New York City. You got what you voted for. You're going to fucking find, actually, that's the way I should say it right there. You fucked around. Now you are going to find out. Mark my words. This is going to go south. It'd be a shame if New York City ends up looking like Detroit. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, let's talk about what's going on with this MAGA Republican thing. See, I think MAGA right now does not represent the Republican Party. I think MAGA is conservative, but I think MAGA needs to be its own party. I think MAGA at this point is a third party. They need to come out and just be that, a third party. They're not the Republican Party. They're conservative leaning, but they're not Republican Party. It's like it's just a different group. And it's fine if you want to be MAGA. It's fine if you want to be Republican. I mean, pretty much the same views. We do vary here and there between parties. Although MAGA is not an official party, but they should be. And what I'm trying to get at here is all the infighting, the results of the elections, everything that was happening is the result of all the infighting between Republicans or conservatives. When all of this was going on, when they should have been driving home the message of why you should vote for this person in this state, this judge, this assembly person, this fucking mayor, they were too busy grandstanding, having the debate me bro sessions, patting each other on the back. The podcasters, the Republican or conservative podcasters, were too busy circle jerking each other, using the same circle of friends, going from podcast to podcast to tell you how great they are because they won this debate or that debate, or just focus on Israel, while not focusing on actual politics in the United States. Yes, foreign policy matters. But when you have an election going on, when you're in the midst of an election where officials are about to be elected to represent people in various ways or affect legislature, don't you think you should be turning your focus on what's going on in America itself, like within America, instead of trying to tell everybody how smart you are and trying to convince people that, oh, we shouldn't cancel Tucker Carlson? Like, what the fuck is that? Who gives a fuck about Tucker Carlson? I'm going to tell you right now, who gives a fuck? My opinion. Seriously. Tucker's a big boy. He made millions and millions of dollars throughout his career. He could handle his own shit. You got people like Dave Smith going out there fucking simping for Tucker, saying, I'm not going to let anybody cancel Tucker, and I swear to God, I'll debate anybody on that. Dude, shut the fuck up, Dave. You're a half-assed comedian at best. And if you hear this, you want to come at me, then fucking come at me. In my world, you're a fucking nobody, period. And before anybody wants to sit there and say, I'm a nobody, oh, well, you're right. I guess comparatively, if you're looking at followers, but what the fuck does that mean? I'm going to address that in a minute. Because asshats like Dave Smith are the reason we have the rift. Dipshits like Candace Owens, oh, there we go. I kicked the hornet's nest. Come at me, Candies, whatever the fuck you call yourselves. These people who, for the most part, don't show hardly any receipts for anything, that love to hear their own voice and convince people. I mean, look, Candace Owens even said that I'm not voting for anything. I'm not going to vote for anything until XYZ happens. Oh, way to go there, Candace. Good job, because that's exactly what happened. Good job there, Davey Boy Smith. You're the Debate Me Bro fucking A1 Gold Star member. You're the champion. Let me tell you something there, Davey. Modern debates on social media are bullshit. It's all theater. You're not really getting down to the issues at hand. You see, you need more than just yelling at each other, telling people that it's a non-argument, it's a straw man, it's a whatever the fuck you want to say that helps you sidestep and not answer the direct question. Nobody outside of X gives a fuck about your debates, buddy. Nobody. And I'm going to say that just about everybody outside of X doesn't give a fuck about you. Period. Go ahead, take this episode, chop it up, play it back for your fucking fanboys on your show, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck, Davey. Because the reality is, X isn't the center of the universe. And most of everything that you got going for yourself is on X. Just like some of the other cronies that are within your own circle. To prove the point here, and to call you out on your shit and people like you and other influencers for the rift in the Republican Party, let's just talk about it. Let's just go for it. So here we go with the numbers. The numbers. Davey boy. Davey, pay attention to this. This is eye-opening. I guarantee it. It's eye-opening. All right. So I asked, what are the total number of users on X in the USA? And this is important because, again, X is the platform that people like Dave Smith will use to validate their political positions, their arguments even. So using the cursor here, hopefully you can follow along. It says, as of late 2025, X, formerly Twitter, has approximately 99 to 111 million monthly active users in the United States. Sounds like a lot, right? Sounds like a lot. All right, Davey boy, I'll give you that. 111 million users, that's a lot of fucking people. Are we to assume that everybody on this platform, all 111 million, fucking love what you have to say and support you? We're going to get to that. So, next question. Number of people in the USA that actually use X or engage in X for politics. Okay. Well, as of mid-2024 to early 2025 data, while a precise number of people using X specifically for politics isn't available, statistics show that a significant portion of its users engage in political content, and I can agree with this. And it's estimated that 59% of US X users say that they use it for politics. So just under 60% of the 111 million users or United States users of X actually engage in politics. Well, I'm sorry there, Mr. Political Influencer, Mr. Davey Big Ol' Boy Smith. Looks like your reach is shrinking in relation to the U.S. population, because the U.S. population is, as of November 5th, 2025, population of the United States is approximately 347.9 million. Let's just round it up to 348 million. So let's put that in perspective. The population of the United States of America, 348 million, 111 million of those users on X. Okay, so of the 348 million, 111 million of those people in the United States are on X. Okay, still significant amount of people. But I know what you're going to say. Well, that is a general number, and that doesn't represent anybody who's actually engaged in politics and voting. I got you there too, buddy. So let's go ahead and see how many voting aged people there are in the United States of America. As of data from early to mid 2025, the citizen voting age population in the USA is estimated to be approximately 238 million people. So out of those 238 million people who are of voting age, roughly half, or actually less than half, are on X for political reasons. Okay. So less than half of the voters are on X. But remember, only 59% of those 111 users using it for politics are actually engaged in politics. So again, 59% of the 111 users in the United States on X are actually engaged on X for politics. So are you starting to get the picture here? People like Davey Boy, your reach, who you are, what you think you are, is closing in. Interesting. Let's go to something. Well, here, I'm going to read. I did a little math here earlier, because doing math on the show is not a good thing. I've been caught before. And I'm horrible at it. So here we are. So as I stated earlier, population of the USA is about 348 million. Voter aged people in the USA is about 238 million. Of those voting age people, 111 million people are X users, but only 59% of X users actually engaged in X for politics, which is, here we go, only 65,490,000 people, which is less than 30% of voter age people in the USA engage in politics on X. You hear that, Davey Boy? Less than 30% of users on X actually engage in politics. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Less than 30% of the 111 people, of the voting aged people in America, actually are your audience. There. Sorry for that. I fumbled a bit, but there's the correction. There's the correction. 238 million voting aged people in the United States, 111 million users on X, but only 59% of them use X. Less than half. And 30% of those people are pretty much the audience you're talking to. So let's go ahead and look at Davey Boy's followers. So Davey Boy Smith here has 852,000 followers. That's pretty good. So 852,000 people pay attention to Dave's content. But there's 238 voting aged people in the United States of America. Less than half of those people use X, and only 60% of those people use X for politics. Starting to see the picture here by numbers there, Dave? You're not as influential as you think. You're part of the club. So you're going on the podcast tours, the Piers Morgans, whatever, but it's because you're in the circle of friends. And you guys are all just circle jerking each other. So you got 852,000 followers. And that is a portion of the users on X. And again, 59% of total US users actually engage in politics. And who's to say that 852,000, like some of those followers aren't even in the United States of America, Dave? That they may like to hear your debates, but you're not necessarily influencing the votes in the United States of America because, well, they don't live in the United States of America. Also, here's one of Dave's cronies here that has a loud mouth and says a lot, Mr. Clint Russell. He has 269,000 or so followers. Do I got to keep painting this picture here? And the people that they are talking down and bad to about, like Ben Shapiro, who called out Nick Fuentes recently, they're trying to say that Mr. like Clint Russell and Dave Smith and people like him, the people within their little circle of fucking friends, that they own Shapiro, that Shapiro has not any relevance anymore, that he's a nobody, that nobody pays attention to him. Right. So when we're talking about Ben Shapiro, here's his numbers. 7.9 million followers. Wait a minute, Davey. You had 800 something thousand some odd followers. Ben Shapiro, 7.9 million. If people didn't think Ben was relevant, they wouldn't be following him. They would be unfollowing him in droves. But since everything about politics is all about X and how big your social media influence is, well, by the numbers, Dave, you're a fucking nobody. So get over your shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, Dave. Hey, but you win, buddy. You're the best debater. You're the guy. You're the one. Yeah. And the guy that Dave Smith has been defending, him and his little buddies, is Nick Fuentes. And on the surface, Nick Fuentes makes sense when you hear things like this.
These DC creatures, these consultants, these think tank nerds, these fucking dorks and losers, these out-of-touch theater kids and student council presidents, these fucking punks, they are miserable. There's a sense of dread. It has captured them because they know that MAGA is dead. It's dead. It has failed.
You might be right.
It is a disappointment. The mass deportations, They're not happening. America First foreign policy, they forgot all about it. Approval ratings in the toilet. Epstein files covered up.
True.
Blue wave just happened.
True.
But the Groypers are jubilant. The Groypers are triumphant because the Groypers are winning. We're the only ones having fun. All these MAGA people, all these heritage Americans, all these people saying, hey, patriot, are you trusting the plan? These people have been humiliated ritualistically by this administration. All that exuberance from the Cruel Kids table cover, all the exuberance from the election crashed on the rocks, on the shore of reality.
All right. So just listening to Nikki there, little Nikki there, makes sense. He's right. MAGA is probably dead. And this is the guy that Dave Smith is standing up for. This is the guy that Ian Carroll's standing up for. Another guy who thinks he's bigger than he is. This is the guy that Clint Black is or Clint Russell, whatever the fuck his name is standing up for. This is the guy that your current social media influencers, your political big brains, the people who know everything there is to know, and you should just do what they say. This is the guy they're supporting. This is the guy that they're supporting because Tucker Carlson actually interviewed him. And on the surface, there are times like this guy makes sense. You're like, yeah, you make sense. What happened to America First? What happened to all the deportations? What happened to the Epstein files, which, by the way, we're still calling for Trump? And yeah, Nick sounds like a guy that makes a lot of sense. But the only problem with that is when you hear him out in previous clips, and I'm going to say this right now, a lot of people who defend Nicholas Fuentes, they always say, well, you're taking him out of context. He's joking. Well, I took it upon myself to actually watch full episodes because I want to understand where this kid's coming from. Well, he's not a kid, he's an adult. So sorry, Nick. I didn't mean it like that. But I don't think people are taking him out of context. He is who he is. But here's a clip of Nick. This is him in his own words. This is the real Nick Fuentes. Well, we can easily say, well, he's good for America because he stands for America First. And you know, he doesn't want any bullshit. He wants the money to stay in America. He wants to be America. I get it. But there's the other side of him that we can't ignore. We can't just align with Nick because he sounds like it makes sense on one side of the coin. But when you flip it over, you see who he really is. Here's Nick Fuentes.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. Anyway.
All right. So, I mean, does Nick still sound like presidential material? Does he still sound like the future of the Republican Party? Because he's a self-professed groyper. The groyper is not part of the Republican Party. They're not part of MAGA. They can give a fuck about either. Groypers are out for themselves. They're borderline. Well, I shouldn't even say borderline. They pretty much are Nazis. They're people who advocate for white nationalism, for white supremacy. They're misogynistic. They believe that a woman should just stay in the kitchen, shut the fuck up, and do what they're told. They're supposed to be the subjects of nothing more than help to their husbands. And that's all they are. This is the future of America. This is what young people, young men, if I dare call them men, this is the person they're looking to, that they're looking up to. Amazing, right? Interesting that this is the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy that loves Hitler, praises Hitler anyway. Now, this here is a actual super clip. I don't know where he got it from or if he made it. This is a account on X, Thomas Tiastra or Tastra. I don't know. I probably mispronounced that. No offense to you, but want to give you credit nonetheless. Let me blow this up so you can see this. So here's Nick in his own words again, and this is a super clip. This is various clips of Nick stating what he really feels.
One, look, I'm not obsessed with Hitler. I really don't even know that much about him. Buddy, it's Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday. Shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, nigga. Heil Hitler. All my niggas, Nazis, nigga. Heil. Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, you know, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool. And any boy knows that. Anybody who watches these videos where he's rolling down the street and stuff, it's like, this guy's awesome. This guy's cool.
Just American general?
Hitler. Oh, American.
Sent $10. Up pointing finger.
If we're going to say Hitler bad, then I'm going to say Churchill bad, and I'm going to say Roosevelt bad, and I'm going to say they're all bad. But if we look at him as a product of his time in that moment, you know, we have to judge him with those things in mind.
Hitler was an incredibly ambitious, aggressive risk taker. Given your qualifications, would you thereby say that Hitler is a good leader?
It's indisputable he is. Indisputably. You could even say he's evil. He made Germany great again. Second semester, I got home in the spring and I was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right. And the Holocaust didn't happen. And my parents were like, we cannot believe what you are saying. We did not raise you like this. I'm like, I can't believe you're not being chill about this. It's 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there. The math doesn't quite seem to add up there. I don't think.
That's him referencing the killing of Jews, 6 million Jews, by the way, in the Holocaust.
I think you'd result in 6 million, maybe 200 to 300,000 cookies. And I think the Red Cookie Association said something like that, probably 200 to 300,000 cookies baked, probably. And in addition, in this hypothetical, I imagine that if you took aerial photographs over the kitchens, you would need to see certain smokestacks to release the smoke from baking the cookies. And the smokestacks would project certain shadows, but I guess they're not visible in the aerial photographs taken over the kitchens. Moreover, if you look at the soil texture, it's really not deep enough for mass cookie storage underground. And so there's a lot of things, in the cookie kitchen, they say that the ovens are wooden and they have windows on them and they're not totally secure. And the ovens that they use, they actually did sort of an ad hoc use of that particular kind of oven, even though they made a perfectly good design for ovens for a different purpose, for delousing. For something else.
Seriously.
So none of it really adds up. I don't know. It just kind of doesn't really make sense.
Nothing adds up in your mind there, Nick. I'm not getting you.
So 6 million cookies, But it's like 6 million degrees. It's like an oven in here. It's like 6 million degrees. I'm feeling like a chocolate chip cookie. Feels like an oven in here.
All right. I'm not going to play any more of that. Are you getting the picture regarding this fucking guy here? This Nick Fuentes. The guy that these fucktard influencers, the Davy Smiths, Ian Carrolls, Clint Russells, these fucktards. This is the guy they're supporting because he makes a lot of sense. And the other reason they're really even rallying behind him is because he says, America first. Okay. That's it? Because he doesn't like Jews? Doesn't like Israel? That's all the reason to get behind this fucking guy. This guy, Nick Fuentes. Seriously. The person that nobody heard about until recently, until Tucker platformed him, basically. And my issue with Tucker, I'm going to tell you this right now. A lot of people are saying, Tucker has a right to talk to who he wants. Yeah, he absolutely does. It's his fucking show. He can say whatever he wants. He can talk to who he wants. I don't really give a shit that Tucker talked to this guy. I care that Tucker threw softballs his way to make him look good, to make him seem palatable, to overshadow and purposely not directly press him on the bullshit that he spews, just like the stuff that I played you. He didn't press Nick on any of that crap, on the use of his derogatory words towards black people, his blatant hate for Jews, his love for Hitler, apparently. Oh, and he admires Stalin. He admires Stalin. In fact, he told Tucker this on his fucking interview, of all things. He told Tucker this on there. I'm going to blow this up for you guys here. Watch this. This is straight from Tucker Carlson's interview.
So it was like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's okay. Let's get back. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day that the attempt happened. So
what the fuck, serious? Hold on. This little Nicky Fuentes is the future of America. This is the fucking guy that young men are looking up to. Serious? This is the guy that all you fucktard political influencers out there that barely have 2 marbles rattling around your fucking brain. You got 2 hamsters up there fighting for food, and food is short, by the way, in your minds. I'm telling you right now, because you can't be that intelligent if you're fucking arguing in support of Nick fucking Fuentes. When it comes to Nick Fuentes, he said, people are afraid to debate me. People are afraid to debate me. Nick, I'll fucking debate you. I mean, really? Who's afraid of anyone to debate? What words we gonna do is throw words at me? And fucking scared there, Nikki. Here's how we fix this, because I was asked this question. I was on Weather View the other day in the morning. Greatest show on X, by the way, in the morning. Shout out to Bruce McGee. And the deal is this. We're all talking about, how do we fix this? How do we get back to getting the conservative party to move forward again as an actual party, the Republican Party anyway. And I think what it comes down to is we got to get these pseudo journalists, these half-baked wannabe journalists with podcasts, these fucking debate me bro bastards to just, well, we just got to shut them the fuck up. What needs to happen is we need to get back to talking about the real issues. We need to talk about actual politics. We got to talk about the things that are actually happening in real time to real people that are living in America. We need to actually be responsible and discuss these things that affect all of our lives every day, instead of grandstanding and fucking prancing around telling how great you are at debates because, oh, I smoked this guy. I swatted down all of his arguments. Dude, shut the fuck up. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Well, you're going around doing these debates and jerking each other off within your own little circle. Guys like Nick Fuentes are gaining popularity because you're refusing to address the real problems in America. That people are frustrated. They don't know where to go. They don't have any real direction. Most people, the average person, isn't going to do any deep dives. They're not going to do any real research because they're busy. I get it. That's not their life. Their everyday routine, it doesn't allow for them to sit down and really go down the rabbit hole. That's the responsibility of people like me. That's the responsibility of all these pseudo journalists, wannabe debate me bro podcasters, which even they refuse to do. And because you're not doing this, you're not making people aware of the actual facts and data. The reality that you're willing to go ahead and spew revisionist history just so that you can look good to you and your little cronies. People are confused, uneducated, and don't know where to turn, how to vote, don't know who their leader is. They're disappointed in the system. So guys like Nick, who speak very well, by the way, I can't take that from him. The guy is great. I mean, let's be honest, he's engaging. He draws you in. But he's a fucking Nazi. He's Nazi. I'm sorry. I could play so many more clips of this guy. I've watched quite a few of his episodes just to be sure I wasn't taking him out of context. What I just played for you on this episode regarding Nick Fuentes, that is Nick Fuentes. And if you agree with Nick Fuentes, everything that he is and what he stands for, then, well, there's no saving you. I'm sorry. There isn't. And for all you ex-influencers who think that you have a grasp on politics and that your reach is so big and far and broad and that you have something to offer, by the numbers, by the percentages, by the population of the United States, the people who actually use X, which is less than half of voting aged people, which is only 111 million users or so, only 59% of those people actually use X to engage in politics. And when you're looking at people who have a following of 850,000, Davey Smith, that's a hell of a lot more than I got, I'll admit it. I mean, hell of a lot more. Your reach seems really small, though, when you break down the numbers. Like, tiny, buddy. Tiny. Fucking tiny. All right, that's all I got for the show. And I'm going to say this. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share the show. I appreciate the growth, everybody. We're going to grow this together. Tell a friend. Tell everybody out there about World Ablaze with George Fuentes. Support me on social media. Thank you very much for supporting me on Instagram. That thing is starting to really take off. And I warned you guys earlier. Look, this is the side of George that you don't always see. Because when I went down the road of getting guests, I had to be a lot more cordial. I had to hold back because I want to hear what these people actually have to say. But as I do more solo episodes, you're going to get more of this. So if you don't like it, hey, whatever. Goodbye. Sorry. This is what you're going to get. I'm not going to apologize anymore. I think I dropped the ball by letting people like the Davey Smiths, the Clint Russells, and the Ian Carrolls, and all these fucking Candace Owens and these other dumb fucks out there sway the people with their misinformed rhetoric. And I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to sit here and allow people like Nick Fuentes to become the driving force in American politics. I'm not going to allow people like a straight up full-blown socialist like Zoran Mamdani or Mamdani, fuck them. I'm not going to let that happen anymore. I'm going to do my best. And because I live in California, I'm done. California GOP, I'm fucking coming for you. Get ready. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you. And as always, have a great day.
Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell.